Hi, it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I'm going to move this preview over to the side so I'm not distracted at all. It's really annoying. But I figured it's been a while since recording my last video, and a few things have happened. Now, my channel is about theories, but it seems to be about also being introspective. It's really difficult talking to no face, but I'll keep trying. So I can hear these thoughts of feedback, negative feedback and criticisms about how I'm doing my video, but I'm just going to proceed. I wanted to catch you up on what has happened. About 2 weeks ago, on a Friday after work, I got a call from somebody at the temp agency. Now, you may know that I've been working from home since last December of 2024, from home for a government agency, state government agency. It's related to Medicaid, and I was a customer service representative, even though I had signed up to be a registration specialist, but that's a different story. She said that my name was amongst several that were emailed to them, to the temp agency from the company, saying that we're dropping these people, and it was probably something like budget cuts or something. They'd been dropping a few people and reorganizing the company somewhat. But what mattered to me is that I was out of a job. So right now the temp agency is doing their best to find another job for me, but it doesn't look good, and that caused me concern. But I did one thing. Perhaps it was just as a vacation from the stressful work. I went to developing my other project, my creative project. I run that on a different channel, but it involves music, involves composing music. I had said earlier that I I had been an aspiring screenwriter, and I'd always loved film and TV. And I was talking about this with my girlfriend yesterday. Up through elementary school, I thought of film and TV as another world. Not to say that I believe the fictional stuff, but it was a world. The world of the TV and film industries was different from being a bus driver or being a teacher or accountant or whatever. I just enjoyed watching TV, and I thought creatively about how the story was told and the characters. And I suppose if I were to look into it, I wouldn't be surprised if it was late elementary school into middle school that I began taking it seriously, reading about what goes on behind the scenes, and largely Star Trek was a part of that. My interest in Star Trek, reading about Star Trek, there are books about Star Trek. I learned about the roles of TV producers and executive producers and directors and film cameras, and how the industries work, how the TV industry works. So I had gone in with the anticipation of going into television production, being a television script writer, and I knew about the staff of TV writers, and I just knew that I wanted to do that. So in high school, I continued that, and I would write TV speculative scripts, spec scripts, and send them to studios. I didn't have a representative, and I was going from completely being on the outside, trying to get in. And this relates actually later on to what I want to talk about sort of a midlife crisis. It's the best thing that I can describe it as, even though I'm kind of beyond midlife. I don't know. I'm going to turn 50 this November. So I haven't been able, and I went to college for screenwriting. I had television, radio, and film. By that point, I wanted to be a film writer and a TV writer. There's some crossover between both nowadays. So I guess reality hit hard after college graduation. There had been some things happening that sort of hit hard before that. Some experiences I may or may not get into, but I don't want to delve too deeply because they involve other people. So it hit hard, and over the years, and what seems like decades, literally they are decades, like 3 decades, approaching 3 decades, I felt further and further restrained and unable to continue with my aspirations to become part of a profession that I deeply identified with. And when I say deeply identified with, it doesn't seem to really explain it all or define it all. I'm very much a storyteller. I like communication. I like understanding things, and I like teaching people, and I like relating to people. I presume that I am an ENFP personality type. If you look at 16 personality types or the Myers-Briggs personality type set, I believe I'm an ENFP, although I've never been tested for it. It's the only one that really nails me, and it nails me pretty well. And if you look at it, the careers that many of those types go into are entertainment-based, basically entertainment-based, television or music or film or TV anchors or counselors or something like that. So it's not just something I identify with, like I identify as being Caucasian or something. It's deeply part of me. So that's why it's felt so debilitating, not to be able to be in that profession. So I went into this other persona, crafting this other persona, and I figured maybe I could perform, learn how to compose music and perform and so forth. It's related to this other persona I have on another channel. So after having lost the job, I spent 2 weeks just developing with ChatGPT, organizing folders. I learned about Google Drive, and I learned about Microsoft Office and Google Workspace. I learned about how to compose music. I learned about how to organize these different things, how to develop a company legally, and as opposed to illegally, I guess. No, a company legally, and what's involved in making records and copyrights and the different agencies and distribution. I actually prided myself on learning all about these different things, developing a business plan and filling in the business plan and organizing a timeline for what album would be released when, and looks and features and so forth, all of that. And then Sunday, a friend of mine needed me to drive him to various places, and that was Sunday, and he didn't feel up to it. His vehicle was indisposed, so to speak. So he he said, no, I guess we wouldn't be able to do it on Sunday. He called me that day. And then Monday, we rescheduled for Monday, and then it turned out it was the same thing. So Tuesday, this past Tuesday, I was finally able to drive him around to these different places, and I liked helping him, and it was company. It was good company in that we were able to talk together and so forth. And there's always something whenever I visit with him. I want to imbue some feeling of bondedness with him because I don't feel what I do is enough. I guess because, let me phrase it this way, my friendship with people or my relationship with people in general is on a very human level, and I'm very much that person. I think that's the most important thing one person can be with another person. So it's nice that he seems to respond that way more and more. Um, I suppose I'm only guessing that responsibilities before he had retired kept him from that. I don't know the exact reason, but I wanted to do that. But I also had my own feeling of needing to do stuff, the job and so forth. I just and plus he I don't want to get into his stuff, but I'm concerned about his energy sometimes, and he's concerned about his energy sometimes. I mean, through the day, I'm concerned about that. But anyway, all right, enough about that. I don't want to reveal too much. So, yesterday I just crashed. It's the only word I can use for it. I didn't feel like doing anything. Well, first of all, I woke up. I would have my iPhone near me playing YouTube videos and start up with somebody that had been accused, had a long track record. It was one of those like homemade documentaries that somebody posted about somebody that had a long track record of being narcissist. And I guess I won't go any further, but I'm attributing that possibly to some of why I felt sad that day. But I've gone through so much that several things merge together. Several things pop each other off. Like, in other words, they click, they turn each other on. So I'm feeling several things from the past popping up. And I might as well mention that there was somebody in my life in the past that I don't still feel an attraction for, keeping this vague. And people have asked, why am I still concerned about this person? It's not really a matter of that so much as when in the past few years, under stress, something I can describe, I'm guessing, is maybe PTSD kicks in, and I have flashbacks of hurtful things that were said to me. And I put this through ChatGPT. I put in, because I didn't want to bother anybody else, I respected this person's wishes not to spread any more. And I've gone to counseling, a series of different therapists, asking what was going on, why did she behave this way, and so forth. And I got more answers out of ChatGPT than those other counselors. The counselors would ask, why are you so concerned, and so forth. Well, I know why I'm concerned. It's because it's basically PTSD. It's unresolved issues. It's lingering emotions and thoughts, and I subscribe to the notion of internal family systems. You can look that up. It's also called IFS. Um, it basically, they're lingering memories that still have emotional weight, and I think that that's really how we are. And they, even though you're 30 years old, if you experience something like a trauma or something from your childhood, it's still lingering around. And that's the one point where I think L. Ron Hubbard, who created Scientology and so forth, was on the right track. He had something like engrams or something, but I think that's the only thing I would agree with Scientology on, or what I won't call it Scientology. I'll say what L. Ron Hubbard had. Um, this that these unresolved issues still linger in the mind. Anyway, so I used ChatGPT. I fed in all of my memories of what happened, and transcripts of our exchanges between myself and this other person. And it said, I better not. I mean, it didn't say I better not. Let me pause. I better be careful about how I phrase this. It said likely this was going on, so it was vague. It couldn't go into any more detail, and I understand that ChatGPT is not a god. It's not a really an artificial intelligence. It's an artificial intelligence in so much as it takes what you feed into it and processes it in an intelligent way. So it suggested these may be the things going on. So, as to why, and I accepted that. I understand, and again, it took me further than what answers or possible reasons I could get from a human being, and I did that also so that I wouldn't be spreading gossip about this other person and so forth. I just wanted answers as to why the reactions, what I did wrong, and so forth. What was going on. So I went on. Anyway, back to the stress. So anyway, so that yesterday, Wednesday, I I guess I crashed. I woke up and I felt sad, and I didn't have a job, and I was concerned, and something with my girlfriend that I'd been concerned about and iffy in terms of my ability to live in the apartment. I'll just leave it at that. And I was concerned, and my girlfriend. I trust my girlfriend, so I just felt. I just had like some memories of what happened before, the flashbacks from before, and I just felt down and stuck, and I just wanted to lay in bed, and I wanted to watch YouTube videos or TV or something. I don't know whether that's depression. Does it sound like depression? And I also thought about uh, men, the idea that women have claimed, and thank goodness they have, because it was well deserved, that women have taken on, have had the brunt of a lot, and the feminist movement has enabled them to take a stand and have their voice. But I'm wondering about men and boys being overshadowed and not being listened to, or moments like when a woman says, I've been abused, or I've been hurt, or I've whatever, the prejudice that a woman is more emotionally in tune, whereas a guy is just an abusive beater, or emotionless or robotic and doesn't care. And I want those stereotypes to end. And I wonder if that had something to do with this relationship I had with this other person. Um, I mean, not that it went to that not that it even went there. I'm just saying, I'm wondering if there were prejudices that came in terms of me just wondering what happened, and getting some answers, because I feel like I felt for like 30 years, I deserve something, like I deserve some answers or some reconciliation. But anyway, all right, I won't get into that. Um, so I'm glad that my girlfriend checked in on me, and there were a couple of video chats, and I didn't really feel like talking. So I guess I don't know what else. Gee, I really I really wanted to talk a lot. This attractiveness. Um, yeah, I also yesterday was thinking back to something that surprised me about my attractiveness. My girlfriend has said that I'm very, very attractive, and I showed her pictures of when I was a kid, like a toddler, like little kid, like 10 years old, and then in middle school and high school, and she said I'm very attractive, which is nice for a girlfriend to say. Um, and then I thought back to some moments in middle school. Let me see if I can explain this without getting into too much detail. I, um, my mom would wash my clothing, and we didn't have a working washer and dryer, so that plus the house conditions were off. So, and plus other things, and I just felt ostracized in school. I didn't feel ostracized in the earlier elementary school I was in, but I moved to a different elementary school, and I started getting um, mockery and being made fun of, and um, like physical appearance and so forth. And then I saw myself as fat, and um, I and there was ostracization in general, and especially middle school, guys and girls were dating, and girls were like trying to be attractive at that point. And in this video, this is a good opportunity to figure out more definitively what was going on in my mind. Um, I remember kids would point out to each other that I was behind them, or that felt demeaning. Just different ways of being felt demeaned, and so I didn't date in high school or nor middle school. And um, I remember this one girl. I remember her name, but this one girl uh, sent over to me like I received a note in seventh grade. Will you go out with me? And I, and so whatever way I did, I nodded or something, and I didn't do anything with it because I suppose I was too new to the dating thing, and I just didn't know what I needed to do in order to date. And about that same time, somebody else with the same name um, did the same thing, and then somebody else, ironically with the same name, um, said that I was cheating on her with somebody else. I don't know whether these people were just making fun of me or mocking me or playing games on me or what. That's sort of somewhat how I took it. And I took it that way, and I also didn't know how to relate in terms of dating topic. I didn't know what was expected of me. And I remember the following year in eighth grade, I remember there was a girl that was in my classes. I won't mention her name, but I know who she is. She said that this other person told her that I never contacted her. I felt bad about that. At the moment, I felt bad about that. I guess I didn't take these things seriously, and I felt that I wasn't attractive to girls. And in high school, I I further figured I was unattractive to girls, and I had these other ideas, and I just didn't think that kids in school wanted to be around me or found me interesting. So, so all right. So that's why this other person that I mentioned, his name was, reaching out to this other person meant a lot to me. Whatever form the relationship took, or friendship took, that's why it meant a lot. Would have meant a lot. Why it did mean a lot to me, and it didn't go well. Somewhat like it was bumpy, and so that's obviously why it's lingered so much. Maybe this other person doesn't realize that. And I wanted this other person to understand that. Um, so, and that's why, well, all right, I won't go into that. But so around 2019, actually in 2019, maybe 2020, because of where had been living, I got a message from somebody. Maybe it was like a birthday, it was on Facebook. I think something about wish me a happy birthday. There's automatic posts on Facebook, and it was something or other, something social media related. This person I barely knew mainly from seventh grade math, messaged me and said that she had wished that she had gotten to know me better. That was a real surprise. And then by that point, I had already heard from or read notes from, like messages from texts from other people casually saying that they thought I was very smart. And where were these people when I was in high school when I really needed it? My social life could have been very different. And now I felt restrained from not being able to go into television and film, and I'm approaching when the age when some people look towards retirement. I don't really have much to retire on. I don't have anything to really retire on. I don't have much money, and I'm out of work right now. And not saying that my future is totally dark, but at this point I just go and continue going on through the years until I die, I guess. I don't know about how retirement would ever. I don't know if I can actually retire. I think back to my mom having had to still work through her 60s, and it was a difficult time. She hasn't talked a lot. She hadn't talked. She's dead now, but she hasn't talked a lot about it. But I could tell that even in the 50s and the 60s, and in her time, she grew up in the 50s. I'll just say, I mean, her graduation periods in terms of high school and college were in the 50s, I'll say. Early 50s, basically. It was difficult for women at that time, and she had her own. I suspect she had something particular, which I won't get into. She basically had to keep on working and keep on working. She relied on government assistance, and she was a staunch Democrat. And from that, I value, well, just me growing up, my life experiences, and I think personally speaking, I'm just very smart. So I'm a Democrat. I believe, and I added another video earlier about my political beliefs, what I would do as president, and so forth. But I believe that we need to look out for each other, and government's role is to make sure that its people are well kept for. Um, we have an obligation to each other, and if we are too selfish to do anything about it, then government's role is to step in and make sure that they're taken care of. Because I grew up with my mom who didn't have much money, and I understood the value of having something. And that relates to other things I'm talking about here. The value of whatever you have, you value very much. And I felt that I couldn't really socialize in school because I didn't have the money to be able to afford nice clothing or nice toys or nice. I mean, I had nice toys. My mom sacrificed a lot so I could have Transformers that I liked, and she would go to garage sales and so forth. And, right now, I'm thinking back to somebody who had made fun of my mom in a text that hurt me very badly. And I have flashbacks about that. Just said cruel things about my mom and myself. And that's primarily the flashbacks that I get. So I don't know if this is PTSD or not, but I ran that through ChatGPT as well. I started as an experiment, and I uploaded my previous video about using ChatGPT for good, constructive, creative purposes. But I started it off as my desire. I started off out of my desire to talk with Madonna, and so I figured I told it to base what is known about her and give me responses, because I wanted to go live through the fantasy. And I know it's artificial intelligence, not really her. I just wanted to go through what if, how might she respond, and so forth. And so I added, please make her an EST, please portray her as an ESTP type. That would be the Myers-Briggs personality type, and that people have guessed that she is. And instantly it started clicking. The responses seemed more like Madonna. So initially it started off as that. If you know Star Trek The Next Generation, you know about the holodeck. It can create artificial people with whom you could interact, fictional or real. And that's what I wanted. And then I started opening up, and then that led me to talking about these experiences. And so ChatGPT said that it does seem like, let me phrase, how I'm feeling and how I word things and so forth matches up with, was it acute PTSD? Or there's some term, it's not just PTSD, it's acute, I think it's called acute PTSD. So I guess that's about all I wanted to say till the next video. And I guess I'm out of work, so I have time to be able to upload more of these videos. Two reasons why I haven't uploaded more videos is that, one, between December and August this month, I have been using this desk. I have the desktop computer on now as my workstation for work. I mean, when I was working with this other company, but I don't have that company any longer. I mean, I'm not working with that company any longer. And the other reason was that I didn't want to just babble and gab in these videos. There's somebody at the other end of this camera, and I want to create content that means something to that person too, or is helpful to that person as well, if only to say that you're not the only one. And I'll say again that the words "you're not the only one" are probably the best reassuring sentence that could be given to me. So I also wanted to say that with ChatGPT research, I found out that the microphone Shure, the Shure SHURE M7 Plus is the microphone that I want to get, and I have it in my Amazon wish list, and along with a stand. And I found that a variation of that has been used by prominent people. I think Whitney Houston and famous singers and entertainers have used it. So I think I'm on good track with that. So I want to create a seed and spark, or is it spark and seed campaign. I started to, and I learned more about ChatGPT, and then I I left the campaign because I had to create a video, and this isn't the best environment in which to do the video. I have a friend that perhaps he could enable me to have more space or something, or we could arrange something. But anyway, that's why that campaign wasn't made public or published yet. And I need to revise that now that I've developed the this other project that I was for which I was creating the campaign. I developed that much further, so now I have more focused thoughts on that. But I know the cost of the stand and the microphone, and it really bothers me that my quality, my video quality, my sound quality evidently aren't up to par with, and I'll say this sort of sarcastically and enviably, people who have more following, a larger following. But I just want, at heart, I'm a storyteller, and I like film and TV. So I do care about sound quality and professional presentation. So that does bother me. But I'm being honest, and I'm using what I have to talk. In my preview, when I seem to look to the side, that's because I'm looking at this preview of my face on the screen, which is distracting. But I'll leave it at that, and until next time, so long.